At almost 30 years old, I decided to join the SEAL teams. They don't allow you to have a SEAL contract after 28, not without a waiver. I needed to find some real meaning and purpose in my life and said, you know what? I'm going to do it. Becoming a Navy SEAL is one of the hardest things I've ever done. In fact, from start to finish, about 90% of the people who set out on this mission will never put on a trident and become a Navy SEAL. Well, I got to tell you, it takes a lot of preparation and planning, and that's the same preparation and planning that I've added to my entire routine with sleep now. I experienced extreme sleep deprivation to the point where I needed help myself and I didn't even realize it. Using Ambien to go to sleep when we're on a flight out to deployment, or when we felt like we had to go to sleep and when there was no Ambien, maybe alcohol. And then when you don't get good sleep because you're drugging yourself up, what do you do when you wake up, right? Hit a Monster, rip it. As I was transitioning out of the SEAL teams, I was drinking NyQuil every single night to go to sleep. In fact, one of my platoon mates, Ryan Larkin, took his life because his sleep was so bad that it negatively impacted his mental health. And so he was awake for 5 days before he took his life. I saw, the downfall of using sedatives to go to sleep. It doesn't make sense rationally, but I wondered, am I next? What I learned was that I was on a path to poor health outcomes. This is what forged the passion and the vigor that I have for sleep science. I had a burning desire to serve my country, and I know exactly what it means to sacrifice. Unfortunately, I can't save Ryan, but my goal was to save people like Ryan. Is sleep health related to mental health? A third of our country right now is short sleeping, and to me, that's unacceptable. There is a way past this, and these are things that I'd love to talk about and share with you to help you on your sleep journey. I just got off the phone with the National Sleep Foundation recently, and these big organizations, they mean well, right? But they have no idea what it's like to be a veteran or a first responder. Drugs are not the answer. Changing the behaviors, changing the sleep dojo, as I like to call it, making small tweaks to improve sleep health, that is the answer. And the power is in your hands. Training is something that people want. It's resiliency. It's something you can learn and make yourself better. And so that's the approach that I take to all this. Maybe I'm trying to guide them in this philosophy by example, right? Because I believe that people only have so much capacity to take on so much. And I'm not really an evangelist. I'm not really trying to tell someone how to live their life. But what I will do is set the example, and I'll place a little breadcrumb trail for people to follow if I believe I'm bringing them to a place of healing and restoration. That's a theme for my entire life right now. In 2023, I was named the Sleep Genius after helping several Navy SEALs get their sleep back to center. When we look at our fighting force downrange, we just can't have people that are sleep deprived and not at their best. In fact, law enforcement, firefighters, first responders, they too need help getting the best sleep possible because they have life or death decisions every single day. Sleep is absolutely critical, and there is so much going on. There might be more going on than when you're awake. And people have always thought of it as a waste of time, like, why you can sleep when you're dead. Actually, you will be dead sooner if you don't get good sleep. If you're not getting good sleep, you're going to get sick more often. You're going to lay out of work. And when you do show up to work, you're not fully there. You're not processing cognitively. In fact, if you're awake for more than 20 hours, you can be tested with a psychomotor vigilance task showing that you have the same cognitive performance as being legally inebriated. About a third of the country, over 100 million people, are struggling with sleep right now. It's getting worse by the minute. But there is a solution. Now that I've helped thousands of people get their sleep back to center, the mission has now shifted. Now I'm designing leaders to go out and spread the good word, duplicate myself, make a bigger impact on this world, because we have thousands and thousands of first responders and millions of veterans suffering with sleep, insomnia issues right now. We are in a sleep epidemic. Even if you're an executive or a civilian, maybe you don't feel like your trauma or your stress is worthwhile. It is. It absolutely is. We're all processing trauma the same way. And I got to tell you, the pharmaceutical companies do not have the answer for you. The answer lies within you, but we have to be able to pass the word as a nation in unity together. We have the answers we need. We just have to get it out there. We have the most effective sleep program in the world called Sleep 101. It's basically boot camp for sleep. If you're not sleeping well and you want to get back to the basics, a lot of this stuff that we talk about, you have seen before. Some of it you haven't. But we throw the kitchen sink at you and you have the ability to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. I have 42 tools in our tool set. One of those is going to land and change your life. I can tell you the transition is like night and day. I feel 10 years younger. I'm performing at my optimal. I remember everything. When I got out of the teams, I couldn't even remember my friend's name because I was being sleep deprived. Sleep impacts every aspect of your health. And in fact, if you're sleeping better, you're going to have better health outcomes, period. I couldn't be happier helping other people, helping my brothers, sisters in arms, first responders, get the sleep that they desperately need so they never end up in a situation like Ryan. You can have your job or your career and get the best sleep of your life. It just takes some careful discipline, some instruction, and some tips and tricks that I have. Let me help the people within your organization improve their sleep.
For goodness sakes, get good sleep for you, your family, your career, your life, your children.
This is a bit of a sleep boot camp. You go through it, you establish these habits, and it's your choice, but if you choose, you can continue these habits and have successful sleep for the rest of your life.